When I'm not out teaching my daughter how to siphon gas, I'm at home watching yet another Netflix post-apocalyptic original trying to imitate the success of Bird Box. Remember The Cloverfield Paradox, Io, Cadaver, I Am Mother, Ark, Black Summer, Tribes of Europa, The Silence. Well, you get what I mean. Awake is Netflix's latest horror thriller which asks the question, can I stay awake watching this movie? Luckily I did, and I got you covered with a full ending explained, some cool details you missed along the way, and we'll even poke a little fun because there are some ridiculous parts in this movie. Now come along and sleep with me, platonically of course, and make sure to like and subscribe. I'm so close to that 400k goal and every bit helps. Now this video will be a bit different than my usual ones. I began it as an ending explain, but then it got so absurd I just had to dunk on it. So I'm gonna attempt to do both. Awake starts just like it ends, with an image of space, and that's because this whole sleep event, or should I say non-sleep event, is the cause of a solar flare messing with our internal clocks, making humanity unable to sleep. And it makes sense this has something to do with electromagnetism, seeing as all electronics have fried, including vehicles. It's only when these vehicles are jump-started that they can work again, a detail these super crazy smart scientists have seemingly overlooked in their journey to find a cure. In our first shot of the film, what appears to be a star gets closer and closer to the camera, but it's actually a satellite crashing to Earth, a result of this solar flare.
All the shooting stars.
Those are satellites, Noah.
It's here we meet Jill, our story's protagonist. She got a job as a campus security guard through her old friend Dr. Murphy, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh. Coincidentally, Jennifer and Gina Rodriguez also starred in 2018's Annihilation. The two characters know each other from their time working in the US military, where Jill aided Dr. Murphy in conducting sleep deprivation torture on US enemies. Although never explained in the film, this may have been what caused Jill's addiction to drugs, that combined with the death of her husband. Only briefly mentioned in one line in the entire film, Jill was court-ordered to give up custody of her children to her mother-in-law, Doris, who is the evil mom from Titanic.
Will the lifeboats be seated according to class?
She secretly steals expired drugs from the campus science lab and gives them to a drug dealer named Greg. Jill picks up her kids from grandma's and gives her daughter a book about dinosaurs. We briefly see a page depicting how birds evolved from velociraptors. In fact, Matilda, Jill's daughter, is seen carrying books about birds throughout the film, and Birdie is even her nickname.
Not sleeping, Birdie?
Only my dad called me that.
Matilda, like the dinosaurs, will have to find a way to survive in order to evolve. In this way, Matilda is like the bird in this analogy, having found a way to carry on in a world that's going extinct. Things really start to kick off when Jill's car malfunctions and crashes into a nearby lake, a result of this solar flare wreaking havoc. Jill and her son Noah, ironically named after the biblical character who saves the last of humanity in a giant ark, emerge from the water to find Matilda being resuscitated by a local sheriff. Because Matilda was dead and brought back to life, it essentially reset her, allowing her to sleep while others cannot. In order to get stitched up, they travel to the VA hospital, where even the coma patients have awakened, although with the inability to function as normal. With everyone partying in the streets since the power's out, Greg asks Jill for more pills. He'll even double the price, so she does what any mom would do and ventures out in the middle of the night for some sweet, sweet drugs. Her mission is cut short, however, when Dr. Murphy barges in with the military on their way to a place called the Hub, a science lab where the world's only sleeper is being held. One of the things I didn't really like about this section of the movie was how fast everything went. It's only been about 12 hours since the event, yet the military has already started making this hub, learned about the sleeper, brought her there, and know that everyone will die due to a lack of sleep. It felt way too much like an exposition dump that they tried to mask by saying,
Everything is accelerated. Symptoms are appearing 2 to 3 times quicker.
So Jill, fearing that the world is slowly going to hell, decides to pick up her kids and head to the hub. Only thing is, her daughter is with Doris at a church where its members are going completely insane.
We should sacrifice her.
No.
Yeah, it's been one day without sleep at this point, and they're already talking about killing a young girl. What church are these guys going to? In storms Brian, who's related to Dr. Murphy, telling them that Matilda has to be taken to the hub, and they're like,
We should sacrifice her.
No, he's actually shot by one of the cops. In the commotion, Jill is able to rescue her children, and they take off, leaving Grandma. Yes, sorry Grandma, you're getting the boot.
Your grandmother can't run, okay? She has a condition.
Yet the majority of the film takes place in a car. It's pretty weird that kids never mention Grandma after this or mourn her, which is strange considering she was a big part of their lives, but this is the kind of thing that happens when you put plot over character. So where do you go when you need a ride? The drug dealer, of course, and he's dead. These two other dealers have killed him, although they've been able to get a couple cars working, one which Jill is able to steal. And while Matilda and Noah are waiting for the ride, Matilda out of the blue asks Noah if he's had sex with his girlfriend.
Did you guys ever do it?
I found this conversation so strange since it doesn't have anything to do with the plot, and especially considering an hour ago she was almost killed by a group of insane church people. This would not be on the top of my things to discuss. So our fam heads off and of course decides to stop by a vicious accident where Jill finds the victims to be those drug dealers from the auto shop. But what's really important here is this badge. In fact, this badge will be the item that allows Matilda to link her death and resurrection with the ability to sleep. Matilda first sees it on the sheriff is killed by the drug dealer who takes it, the drug dealer is killed, and then Jill takes it. It's never explained why she takes it, it serves no purpose to her, but I guess the writers needed some way to eventually get that badge to the hub. While searching for a map to take them to the hub, their car is stolen as a group of scary-ass inmates descend upon the town. But their carjacker has a change of heart and ends up coming back to save them, and Jill shows her appreciation for being saved by immediately holding him at gunpoint. This is Dodge, and we don't get much of a backstory on him, why he was in jail or why he decided to come back. Jill doesn't like it when he swears around Matilda because she's just a kid.
She's a kid.
And they do all sorts of kid things together, like siphon gas, shoot books, teach a 10-year-old how to drive, and telling her she has to grow up quick because everyone except her will be dead in a few days. They eventually do make it to the hub, where Jill decides to go in alone and check things out.
046.
And thank goodness the guards are saying the code out loud so Jill can sneak her way inside, and no one seems to notice she's not supposed to be there when she puts on a white lab coat. But hey, they might be so out of it from the lack of sleep they're just not with it. Jill finds out that the sleeper, this old woman here, has been held against her will and has been treated like a science experiment, a fate that Matilda would likely experience should she be found. Dr. Katz here even experiments on chimpanzees, apparently the only other animal to have this sleeping problem. Meanwhile, Dodge is captured alongside Matilda and Noah. It's never explained how they reunited, he just kinda shows up with the kids somehow. It's here when everything essentially breaks down. The entire military crew has run off 6 to 7 days of no sleep, kept going by a cocktail of drugs. They start to see hallucinations, like kicking pine cones thinking they're grenades, or this gem.
Sandra, is that you?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it's me.
Jill ends up making it to her daughter, who, for some reason, is about to be killed by Dr. Murphy, and there's no explanation for this, but Dr. Katz ends up giving Dr. Murphy one of those adrenaline cocktails, but doesn't take out the air in the needle. Apparently you can die if enough air is left in the syringe, and this is a callback to a brief but weird scene where Grandma Doris teaches Matilda how to use a syringe. Probably not the best thing to teach your granddaughter, knowing her mother's past with substance abuse. Jill grabs her daughter to find Noah stabbing an electrical wire, hallucinating that he's helping his dad gut a fish. They use the defibrillator to bring him back before jumping to the morning after, where everyone seems to be dead. Even Dodge, who we never see get shot. Now we do see his head kinda move a little here, which may indicate he's still alive. Jill and Matilda wake up, and so too does Noah, who says he was dreaming. The defibrillator worked on him, and when Matilda sees the badge, reminding her of the day she died and was brought back alongside the defibrillator, she puts 2 and 2 together that bringing back someone from the dead resets their internal clock, allowing them to sleep. So they do the only rational thing and drown their mom in the water in order to resuscitate her. Noah performs CPR, and as the camera zooms in on her eye, we fade to black and hear the sound of Jill gasping for air. Now on to save humanity by killing everyone one at a time. I thought this movie had a really awesome premise, but all these logical inconsistencies and things that just plain didn't make sense really made it hard for me to stay awake. That one's for heavy spoilers, he told me to say it. Thanks for watching everyone, remember to click that like and subscribe button, and for more bad takes you can always follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.